This is CBS 46 News at 6. Getting results.
And CBS 46 is on top of breaking news right now. President Trump and his coronavirus task force preparing to update the nation on the coronavirus pandemic. We're going to break in once he begins speaking.
We have a lot to cover today. Good evening, and thanks for joining us at 6 o'clock. I'm Sean Gables, reporting live from a remote location here at CBS 46. We are practicing, Karen, what everyone now knows the term social distancing.
Yes, our new normal. And I'm Karen Greer in for Rick Folbaum. We are streaming tonight's newscast on our CBS 46 streaming app, Facebook Live, and YouTube due to the president's news conference airing right now on CBS 46.
Well, right now, let's get to the other stories that we're going to follow before we get to the president's press conference. The United States has more than 41,000 confirmed coronavirus cases with at least 470 deaths. New York State continues to have the most confirmed cases with almost 21,000 people infected. That's more than the entire country of France and almost as many as Iran. Georgia's confirmed coronavirus cases have now surpassed 700. The official from the Public Department of Health is saying that 722 people are infected with coronavirus. There are 25 deaths. Fulton County has 145 confirmed cases, the most in the entire state. Cobb, DeKalb, Daughtry, and Bartow counties round out the top 5.
Now, about an hour ago, Governor Brian Kemp providing an update on Georgia's response to the coronavirus, laying out a plan to house and treat Georgia's growing population of infected residents.
We have asked federal officials to allow us to keep the temporary medical facility at Dobbins Air Reserve Base once cruise ship passengers depart. We are hopeful that we will have this location for the metro area for patient diversion.
Some other points from the president from the governor's speech: the governor ordering a statewide ban on many gatherings of more than 10 people and ordering a shelter in place for medically fragile people undergoing cancer treatment, any type of immune systems that are compromised, elderly residents for the next 2 weeks.
The coronavirus is spreading into Metro Atlanta jails. A Fulton County jail inmate recently tested positive for the virus. According to a spokesperson, the man is in his 30s. He has been undergoing treatment for a chronic illness that may have rendered him more susceptible to the virus. Jail staff are retracing his movements to find people who came in contact with him prior to the diagnosis. Staying in Fulton County, the number of coronavirus-infected state elected officials grow. Democratic Senator Nakia Williams posted this photo you see here after confirming she tested positive for the virus. CBS 46's Adam Murphy breaking down tonight how Williams and the other infected lawmakers are handling the pandemic.
I have reached out to multiple sources and state leaders about the quick spread of the coronavirus and the toll it's taking on our state lawmakers. At the state capitol in downtown Atlanta, the legislative session has been suspended and lawmakers are on high alert. This after 3 legislators tested positive for coronavirus. Senator Brandon Beach from Cherokee County was the first to report a positive test result. He told CBS 46 he immediately informed the lieutenant governor and leadership and has been recovering in isolation. Also from Cherokee County, State Senator Bruce Thompson tested positive for the virus. He said he came down with flu-like symptoms a week and a half ago. His condition worsened last Monday when he collapsed in the emergency room. He told CBS 46 he was released from the hospital over the weekend and is undergoing therapy for his lungs while recovering at home. And the most recent case of coronavirus hit State Senator Nakia Williams, who represents parts of Fulton County. She came down with a fever last week. 3 days later, her doctor authorized a drive-through test, which came back positive. Thompson, Williams, and Beach are all on the road to recovery and hoping their experience will teach others to take the virus seriously. I've also been informed that State Senator Kay Kirkpatrick has tested positive for coronavirus. She said she immediately went into quarantine, but clearly things are changing very rapidly here. We do anticipate there will be others. In Atlanta, Adam Murphy, CBS 46 News.
All right, Adam, thanks. And tonight, co-workers are honoring the memory of a DeKalb County clerk who recently passed away. Some believe the coronavirus played a role. CBS 46's Haley Mason has her story.
I've been talking to the people who knew Miss Rusha Stevens best, her friends and family. They tell me she was a kind and loving mother, grandmother, and musician. Mrs. Rusha Stevens worked as a court records technician for the last couple years in the DeKalb County Superior Courts. That's where she was popular and loved. She was the wife of retired DeKalb County Magistrate Judge Cornel Stevens. People who knew Mrs. Stevens tell me that she went home sick within the last couple weeks, that she went to a doctor more than once and was sent home from the hospital late last week after being told she was okay. She died shortly after. Her friends tell me they have no confirmation that her death is related to the quickly spreading novel coronavirus, but they are asking for more tests. I reached out to DeKalb County Superior Court Clerk Deborah DuBarry, who was Mrs. Stevens' manager and friend. DuBarry says she was not speaking publicly out of respect for the family, but agreed to share some memories with me.
Miss Stevens was well loved and adored by me as well as our entire staff as just a dynamic person and woman, and we miss her, and we're grieving over the loss of her.
CBS46 was notified in this letter that the DeKalb County Superior Court Clerk's office would be cleaned and closing for a month as staff learned that an employee was experiencing coronavirus symptoms.
The CEO sent out an email putting the county in an emergency situation, and so my thought, of course, was the safety and welfare of my staff.
DeBarry tells me that she had the office cleaned before she learned that anyone was symptomatic. While so much is uncertain, friends and family are remembering the things that are. A graduate of Morris Brown College and a cherished wife, mother, and grandmother who will be missed. Now, I just heard back from Mrs. Stevens' brother. He tells me that she was an outstanding music educator who loved children and helping others. Meanwhile, the DeKalb County Superior Court Clerk's office will be closed until April 13th. Reporting in Atlanta, Haley Mason, CBS 46 News.
Thanks, Haley. In South Carolina, Senator Lindsey Graham speaking candidly to reporters earlier this afternoon as the Senate prepares to vote on economic relief.
Yeah, I'm confident that if we don't produce a product today, then that will be the end of the Senate as we know it in the eyes of almost every American. We will have failed miserably.
And that is South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham speaking candidly to reporters earlier this afternoon as the Senate prepares to vote on economic relief for Americans during this pandemic. Here's some live pictures now from Washington that show senators haggling over the legislation. The bill seeks to provide nearly $2 trillion in relief. It includes roughly $500 billion in funds for loans and loan guarantees to be given out to distressed companies, states, and localities. Sean.
Karen, what happens in Washington affects what happens on Wall Street. Failure to agree on a plan over the weekend sent today's stock spiraling downwards. Take a look. The Dow Jones Industrial sank moments after the opening bell, and they really never recovered. The final numbers show the Dow, S&P 500, as well as the NASDAQ, all ending in the red today.
We're having some problems with his microphone, but we're talking about employees working together to feed other employees who are out of work temporarily because of the coronavirus. And today, the Buckhead Life Restaurant Group launching its employee meal program. The goal is to provide more than 600 meals to employees and their families. The restaurant group owns 7 restaurants, including the Atlanta Fish Market, the Buckhead Diner. Buckhead Life employees can pick up the food at any of their restaurants. And tonight, for many folks, the reality our new normal is starting to sink in.
It means a lot because today was one of the first days I could see some fear in people's eyes. And then it's like really probably the first day it's hit me to be like, wow, this is really happening. So who knows what's happening next, but like I said, we'll try our best.
And not only does the food, the Buckhead Life has also set up GoFundMe pages for staff and employees at each restaurant. Sean?
Well, Karen, despite the massive shutdown as a result of the coronavirus, the VA says making sure veterans get the benefits that they so richly deserve is a top priority. And they're getting help from the president. Our Bobeth Yates has details on a new law that is changing everything, including the GI Bill.
under the GI Bill, veterans enrolled in school can get financial help with housing. But with everyone being quarantined to their homes and schools closing their doors, that left millions of dollars in benefits in jeopardy.
Basically, you got a monthly housing allowance based on you going into the class. If you take classes online, you actually get less.
And with the coronavirus forcing many colleges and universities to move classes online, that meant thousands of veterans would not be getting the financial assistance they needed. But Dr. Paul Lawrence, the Undersecretary for Benefits at the Department of Veterans Affairs, says all that changed over the weekend.
The president signed a law enabling those folks whose schools had closed to get their own rent. So basically, their benefits continue.
Undersecretary Lawrence says one of their goals is to step up during times of emergency, making sure veterans needing assistance won't have a lapse in their benefits.
VA is providing materials, persons, insights and the like. So we think we're delivering on our mission.
Wednesday, Undersecretary Lawrence will host a tele-town hall for veterans in Georgia. They'll be able to call the number on their screen to get more updates about the changes being implemented because of the coronavirus. We'll also put that information on the CBS 46 News app. Fighting for our vets, Bobeth Yates, CBS 46 News.
Bobeth, thank you. Reach out to CBS 46 if you are a veteran or if you know one who desperately needs our help. The email address is on your screen, fightingforourvets@cbs46.com.
And we've had rain off and on all day today. We've got more tonight and even more so tomorrow as showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast. Right now, it is wet outside and it's remained wet. And my computer just shut off. Let's see if this works if I hit the space bar. That rain will continue off and on throughout the day today. Severe storms are possible tomorrow. I'm going to pinpoint the timing of the storms, who has the highest risk of severe weather, and how long that threat will stay with us coming up.
All right, Jen, thank you so much. And the coronavirus forces the postponement of the 2020 Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. The International Olympic Committee making that decision moments after Canada threatened to not send its athletes. Our sports director, Fred Khalil, in the studio with the details. Fred.
Yeah, that's hard to believe, Karen, but the coronavirus has hit the biggest event in the world. Today, the Tokyo Summer Olympics were postponed. It's difficult to imagine this worldwide showcase shut down, but that is exactly what happened. The dominoes began to fall Sunday night when Canada announced it would not send athletes to the games. Australia jumped on board. In fact, the Australian Olympic Committee has told athletes to prepare for the Summer Games in the summer of 2021.
Fred, I'm going to take it from you because the president's just walked out to the podium with his coronavirus task force. Let's listen in.
It's fine. That's the way it should be, and it's too bad. We extend our best wishes to the person affected, and we feel sure that he or she will be better very soon. And thank you for being here. America continues to mobilize every segment of our society to turn the tide in the battle against the virus. I want Americans to know that we will get through this challenge. The hardship will end. It will end soon. Normal life will return, and our economy will rebound very, very strongly. But right now, in the midst of this great national trial, Americans must remain united in purpose and focused on victory. To every single American, please know that the sacrifice you're making at this time is saving lives, many, many lives. It's very important that we totally protect our Asian American community in the United States and all around the world. They're amazing people, and the spreading of the virus is not their fault in any way, shape, or form. They're working closely with us to get rid of it. We will prevail together. It's very important. From the beginning, we have been working closely with our nation's best scientists and medical professionals, and we will continue to do so until we have defeated the virus. Our public health experts, who are terrific, are studying the variation in the disease across the country, and we will be using data to recommend new protocols to allow local economies to cautiously resume their activity at the appropriate time. We also have a large team working on what the next steps will be once the medical community gives a region the okay, meaning the okay to get going, to get back. Let's go to work. Our country wasn't built to be shut down. This is not a country that was built for this. It was not built to be shut down. My administration continues to work with Democrats and Republicans to reach an agreement on an urgent relief bill for the millions of American workers and small businesses and large businesses that were badly affected by the medical difficulty that we've had. If you had a viable business in January, we are committed to ensuring the same is true in the coming weeks. In fact, we want to make it even better than it was before, and we're doing things to help in that regard. America will again and soon be open for business, very soon, a lot sooner than 3 or 4 months that somebody was suggesting. A lot sooner we can.
And we are keeping the president's coronavirus speech with his task force on our air, CBS46, and we are going to move on now to our live stream to give you the rest of this newscast. Now, testing Metro Atlanta residents for the coronavirus remains an issue.
It is an issue, Karen. One testing site in Cherokee County has the attention of federal health authorities. Right now, the process is pretty straightforward. You can only get tested if you have a referral number. No walk-ups or drive-ups allowed. The only people tested are either healthcare workers or those over the age of 60 who have already began to show symptoms. Health officials say this process is a good example of how federal, state, and local organizations are working together.
I'm just here as support and making sure that any supplies or anything that they need here, boots on ground, that our United States Public Health Service has eyes on it, and the federal government has eyes on it, so that we can continue supporting them as they do good work here.
Health officials add this is something the North Georgia Health District planned, thinking they would never have to actually do it.
Major U.S. cities, including New York City and Los Angeles, are changing their coronavirus testing strategies. They're recommending doctors avoid testing patients, except in cases where a result would significantly change the course of treatment. In the meantime, scientists overseas are developing a test that gives results in just 30 minutes. Nick Paton-Walsh has more.
Test, says the WHO, but it can take days in a lab. Yet in Oxford, England, they think they've made a pregnancy-style colour-based test usable anywhere, the raw materials for which cost about $25.
Now, this isn't a hospital, of course, and these are not sterile, but the hope is you'll be able to take a specimen from someone's nose, put it in a test tube, and then get it tested in just about half an hour.
At Oxford University, they can't test me as it could contaminate their laboratory, but they work on a negative and positive control sample and had a head start 6 weeks ago with help from partner academics in China. Here, he adds a positive control sample to their special mix of chemicals and enzymes before a colleague steps in to stop cross-contamination.
I have done the positive, and she's doing a negative in the second tubes.
She puts it into a machine that heats both samples to 65 degrees centigrade or 150 Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. Then it's done. Pink is good, yellow is bad.
There's a race against time here too. They need clinical trials for about a week, then regulatory approval to be swift, and then mass production in clean facilities. They hope, though, that may all be possible within 2 to 4 weeks.
Nothing works until it works, and there could be shortfalls here. But there's another bonus as well.
For now, we are trying to push it that everything needs to be handled by the professional people in the hospital, but we are doing it, doing some more development to hopefully that we can have an easy kit that people can use it at home.
The test needs a temperature anyone can create with water at home.
So 1 part cold, 2 parts boiling hot.
Exactly. And then we just pop the test in and put the lid on.
There are kits that claim to be faster, but this is simple and could be used anywhere for even less than $25 if mass-produced. Possible, cheap, quick clarity at a time when uncertainty rules. Nick Paton-Walsh, CNN, Oxford.
And we go from sports to wet weather, and this is the kind of weather that makes you want to stay inside, and we'll see much of this tonight and even more so tomorrow. Here's a look at CBS 46 pinpoint radar. Rain continues to move from west to east, heavy at times, but really all of these thunderstorms have weakened as they crossed over the Georgia border. So although we have seen sun, lightning, and thunder today, mostly we've just seen rain, and that'll be the case for most of tonight. It's not until tomorrow that we'll see that threat of severe weather once again. Right now, seeing some pretty heavy rain across metro Atlanta, especially on the south side of 285 near the airport. East Point seeing very heavy rain there. That extends through the rest of Fulton County into Gwinnett County and will keep it rainy for the next several hours. In fact, the rain doesn't really taper off until late tonight, around 11 p.m. midnight. We'll get a little bit of a break from the rain, but it will be short-lived because tomorrow that rain returns. We have thunderstorms in the forecast. Some will be strong, possibly severe, as we get up to 70 degrees. And I'm watching for the possibility of 2 big batches of rain, and both will bring the possibility of severe weather. The first one arrives late in the morning and the early afternoon. So you're looking at noon, and you can see very heavy downpours possible across North Georgia. That threat will continue to about 3-4 p.m. as it moves to the south and east. Then we get a little bit of a break, but a second wave of rain moves in tomorrow late in the evening after about 8 p.m. And that second wave of rain could also bring severe weather. That threat will continue through tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning before it finally clears out. As that system moves in, both rounds of rain could bring severe weather, and really the threat is for most of North Georgia, areas north of I-20, but that area in yellow, that is northwest Georgia, where we have a level 2 risk, a slight risk of severe weather, could see tornadoes, could see very heavy downpours, could see hail up to 1 inch in diameter and winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. The threat of tornadoes, although not non-existent, is very low. So I think we could see 1 to 2 rotating storms, but more than anything, it's going to be very heavy rain that you'll notice with that rain that moves through. It comes to an end early Wednesday morning, so there is a 20% chance of rain Wednesday, but that is for the early morning hours. After that, rain is out and we get a long break. In fact, that break's going to be really nice with dry weather the rest of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. In fact, the next round of rain doesn't move in until late Saturday. So at least we're going to get several days of dry weather once this next system moves in. But certainly all eyes on tomorrow as that threat of severe weather moves in. We'll be